So what percentage of parents would give their kids smart drugs if they heard other parents were? The answer is 33%.
One Aussie academic reckons so-called academic doping amongst students is now so prevalent that random drug tests need to be introduced to ensure an even playing field when it comes to exams. Indeed, this guy, Vince Katchik, doesn't believe these drugs should be banned, as he says there's nothing wrong in using them. Though it should be stressed, no one knows the long-term effect these drugs may have on otherwise healthy individuals. Katchik argues that taking smart drugs is no worse than hiring a private tutor to help you get better grades. And he's not alone. I was quite surprised about this. Back in June, Professor John Harris, who's editor-in-chief of the Journal of Medical Ethics here in the UK, he claimed smart drugs were a natural extension of the education process. While earlier this year, scientists at Bristol University said schools will have to provide them to pupils within a generation, otherwise poorer kids will lose out because their parents won't be able to afford to buy them. Does anybody else find this extraordinary? Does this mean you're a muppet if you're at uni now and not taking smart drugs? Do you know much about them, Mark?
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, it's not cheating as much as you have a bathroom cabinet full of these drugs and you take one that helps you with English literature.
Right.
You suddenly know all the works of Shakespeare, but it obviously improves your performance.
Study longer, remember more.
Well, yes, it's for the revision rather than the exam, isn't it? So
yeah.
It helps you to absorb the information more clearly. And I suppose the obvious comparison is with sports drugs.
Yes.
And we consider that to be cheating, to enhance your performance with drugs. And therefore, I suppose the logical conclusion this is, but... You know, when I was a student, I used to take caffeine tablets and so on, and it's basically a progression from that. It's a degree rather than a obvious line, I think. It's quite difficult to decide if it's
and we
cheating
have schools already doing this, not with the drugs, but with omega-3.
Yeah.
Lots of schools are actually giving the kids one omega-3 capsule a day.
Is that right?
Yeah. I did a report on a school that was doing that, and they found that it significantly boosted academic performance from the children.
What if they found crack helped kids with their studies? Would they be doling out pints?
That's it. That's an omega-3 oil that you could argue we should all be having in our diet anyway, but we're not. And I don't know where you draw the line, because if my kids came home one night and said, could we have Ritalin for the next couple of months while we're, swatting up for the GCSEs, I don't know whether I should say yes or no.
Well, if you've got people in charge of ethics or people with a view on ethics, medical ethics, saying, they should be available.
Yeah.
But it's still artificially boosting, isn't it? I mean, that's the point. And there are side effects that we probably don't really know about. I know some of them are like mood swings and things like that, and increased heart rate and all of that. So, I mean, like caffeine, if you drink too much coffee, you'll end up with the shakes. So I don't think it's a good idea at all.
Well, you might not think it's a good idea,
but quality? What about the poor people that can't afford Ritalin, for instance? Then everyone's... there's disadvantage, even more disadvantage.
But if you were to consider, I don't know, certain degrees like law, a first-class degree from a top university could set you up for life. I mean, a huge difference in your life, and you start taking smart drugs at A level and you end up with 5 straight A's, you go off to university, do you stop taking them and maybe get... slip down slightly, or do you carry on? You would carry on.
Well, quite. You're in a court of law, and then before your big sort of speech that you've got to convince the jury of, I just have to slip a Ritalin.
Well, it comes down to, do you want to be operated on by a doctor who had to have Ritalin to be as good as he is?
Well, yeah, but if it means that he's better than a doctor that hasn't...
I know.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Then.
I think the scary thing is that nobody's been taking it for long enough to know what the long-term effects are, and if anything that tinkers with the brain is something to be scared of.
Well, it's a controlled, like, Class B substance, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, compared to cannabis.
Okay, let's say you're at university today, Freshers' Week's just coming to an end. Next week, studies begin in earnest, and you are aware that half the students in your year are taking smart drugs and half aren't. Which group would you be in then, Mark? Let's go down the panel. Would you join the smart drugs?
If I was really honest, when I first heard about this, I was, first of all, shocked, and then I started looking for an address as where to get the drugs. Okay. So I would be tempted, I must admit.
Anne?
I would probably take it, yes. Because, and I'm a parent who did the omega-3 thing with my children for as long as we could remember to do it.
I'd like to say no, but if other people were using it and it was going to increase my grade, I would probably be forced to take it.
I would do it too. So all 4 of us on the panel would take smart drugs. I have no idea, and we can't get the information on what percentage of students today may be taking smart drugs, but I'd dearly love to hear from anybody at university at the moment who may now be thinking about getting them. Kirsty, what do people say?
First, we've got Judy on line 2.
Judy, good morning.
Good morning.
So, are you smart if you take smart drugs, stupid if you don't?
I'm actually doing a degree at the moment. I've just started doing my 2nd degree.
What's the subject?
radiography.
Okay.
And I feel that people taking smart drugs, their fellow students taking smart drugs and get the high grades, that will push my grades down.
Yeah.
And what happens when they don't, when they finish going to university? I mean, do they have to carry on taking the smart drugs?
Do you know of anybody who's taking them now? Are you aware of students that take them?
No, I'm not aware. I didn't even realise there were smart drugs. And I would never think of taking smart drugs. As I said, it's my second degree. I've already done a degree. I got a 2-1. Recently found out as well that I'm dyslexic. And I'm really proud of my degree. I
bet you are. I bet you
really
are.
hard for that degree.
But the world changes, it evolves, and I can predict what you can see, can't you? 20 years down the line, there'll be new smart drugs that probably sharpen the mind up even more.
Yeah, I totally understand that, and okay, it'll be fine for other people to take them, but for myself, I want to work hard and I want to achieve a good degree by myself. I think that it is cheating taking smart drugs.
Okay.
And that there are other ways you can gain an advantage. You can work hard.
Oh, yeah, but Judy, hard work, you know, talk to the hand, talk to the hand. Thank you for the call. Hard work? Who does that these days? Kirsty.
We have Adam on line 1.
Adam, good morning.
Hello?
Is it cheating, smart drugs?
Yeah, of course it's cheating taking smart drugs, but it's a vicious cycle because once people start taking them, you have to carry on taking them. My main worry is that a lot of these smart drugs are amphetamine-based, and I know through my mother and through myself that what was on the market 30 years ago had to be withdrawn because I know my mother got to the point where she thought soldiers would be walking through the living room window and carrying her out the door. And this is 20, 30 years down of drip, drip.
Give it time, Adam, give it time. That's all I can say. So you're concerned about the safety of the drugs?
I'm concerned about the side effects.
Let's say...
down the line, 30 years. We don't know enough about them.
OK, but let's say 30 years down the line, they produce a range of smart drugs that are proven to have no negative side effects, only positive effects. The brain increases in its ability to study, to remember things, to solve problems. Would you start thinking about them then?
Yeah. Yes, I would. But it's wrong. It's wrong, though. Look, it's wrong. It's wrong, and you shouldn't do it, and it's wrong. And we shouldn't get in the vicious cycle where we all have to pop drugs.
But no, but, you know...
Well, yeah, you'd have to, because you're stuck in the cycle.
Absolutely, and we're saying it's cheating, but I suppose the other way you could phrase it is it's about getting an edge. And...
But you can get an edge by studying and exercise.
You can, but then if you did study and exercise and took smart pills, you'd have an edge on an edge.
It sounds natural, though. That's the thing,
or
isn't
having a private tutor, though. I mean, you can argue that that's cheating.
Yeah, but that's natural. It means the information is going in to your brain rather than it being your brain being changed by a drug to accept the information. Surely there's a difference.
Maybe if the brain is, as far as I understand, a mixture of chemical reactions and electrical reactions, it's already a chemical thing that's going on up there. Maybe people have different amounts of different chemicals in their bodies, and therefore the brains aren't evenly matched to start off with on a chemical front.
Well,
I'm getting... Cha-cha-cha. Adam, thank you. Let's have one more before the break.
Keith, he's on line 3.
Keith, good morning.
Good morning.
Would you take them?
I would.
Do you want to expand on that, Keith?
Well, I just believe that, you know, we conquered flint back in the Stone Age during the Industrial Revolution, and chemicals is just another tool. We are a tool-using species. And if we can conquer these chemicals, if one of these bright sparks at a university has a cure for cancer or gets nuclear fusion at room temperature, are we going to rule it out? We're not going to use that because that was come about while he was using performance-enhancing drugs. I don't think so.
Is there a difference between taking performance-enhancing drugs when you're in sport and taking performance-enhancing drugs in academia?
Yes. In sport, you're just trying to cross that line half a second quicker or get half a
than your competitors, Yes,
you're trying to beat your competitors.
And what's
now, it could be that we have to, introduce drugs testing, and maybe it's on your degree. It says on your degree, this pupil had one-to-one tuition with a private tutor and got an A. Or this pupil had Retrolin or whatever these drugs are called and got an A, but this pupil didn't maybe that could go on there, but I don't think we should ban it. And as we said, in 30 years' time, I think it's going to be all irrelevant. I think just like omega-3 is being used at the nursery schools and all the rest of it, I think it's just going to naturally happen that we're all going to be using it, or all the kids...
Oh, God, stop, Keith. Give me the EBGBs, honestly, mate. I can't...
That was a very interesting point, the policing it, because it's hard enough policing drugs in sports, in big events, let alone in every school and so on.
This is what this Vince Katic bloke was talking about.
And I don't know how we can say it's OK for academic success if it's not, if we say it's not for sporting success.
That's where I had the problem, because I know that I think the degrees, they hand out a certain number of first 2-1s and 2-2s, so it's all going to be... It is about getting ahead of
the fastest person in the world then would be someone, obviously, that had that drug, so you'd have to be named that, like a Retland lawyer or...
The drugs Olympics and the non-drugs
Yeah. OK.